Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11, we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What up, though? It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. How's everybody doing today? What a fantastic day to be alive. It's beautiful outside. I'm going to take a short trip right after this show. Head up north for a little bit. Get out of the house. Take the family. How's everybody doing today? Well, Detroit sports. Let's talk about it. Red Wings floundering. Tigers start out 2-1. Yes, it is a beautiful Monday. Hey, we got MDE, Nick Burton, and RBF Fred in the house. Gonna take the camera out, take some shots up in Tawas and Oscoda today. Maybe stop by a buddy's house to introduce him to the family. I think it's a good idea. Well, I used to live in Tawas, and we used to spend summers in Oscoda, where my grandma and grandpa had a trailer. So it's about going this recent. Yeah, OT or edge is basically where I'm at on this first round. And whichever one he doesn't get, he should take that in the second round. And it depends on who's there. You know, let's face it, we're probably not getting Monroe Freeling because he's jumped up to where he's like the second tackle off the board, if not the first. It's between him and Francis Mawagawa. Then it's Spencer Fanu. Then it's Caleb Lomu. Then Proctor, or Hinnekor, then Proctor. That's how far Proctor has dropped. Then after Proctor, you got Drew Shelton and a couple others. Whereas there's only really like 5, 6 first round edge pieces, and they're more than likely going to go before we even get there. That's where I'm at on it. I think we might have to go edge unless you want to go with one of the second tier players, because I think we actually need more of a power rusher than a speed rusher. We've had the 2 speed rusher things and it works. Right, I like Lomo, I like Hinnekor and Proctor. I mean, any one of those 3 is fine by me, but Proctor's falling to the second round now in most prospect lists. He's been ranked anywhere from 49 to 58, which is perfect because he should be right there if we decide to go edge in the first. That's where I'm at on it. But out of all of them, at 25, at 17, I wouldn't mind Messidor. I know he's 25 and going to be 26 to start the season, but edges age differently than some of the other skilled positions. So we're getting him right at the start of his prime to learn how to be in the NFL instead of taking 2 or 3 years to develop to get there. And he was a product of Bain being across of him as much as Bain was across. You know, it's a medical issue of some sort. He did not pass his physicals. And so there's something that's holding him back, and it makes them think that he won't be available for the start of the season then. And if that's the case, You let him languish on free agency, that or you give him a prove-it deal just to get him on the roster and let him heal. And you don't worry about the medicals at that point. But if it's going to be like an 8-week out, he's not going to do you any good. If it's only going to miss like the first 2 to 4 weeks, I'm all in. I would take him in a heartbeat. I love AJ Empinesa. I have since the draft in 2020 when he came out. I wanted him to be a Lion that year, but no, we took Jelani to buy. Yes, and that's the thing. We don't have to start the edge right away because DJ Wanham has been a starter who's been more productive in his short career than AQM. AQM got 11 and a half of those sacks this past season, and everybody's forgetting that. He only had 29 sacks in his career. Wanham already has 32. Oh, we got the Yinza in the house. What's up, my brother from another mother? That Jagoff. I still want this guy to be our last pick in the draft. I don't care what anybody says. That kid out of MSU Moorhead, the Red Dragons, he needs to be a Lion. I just think it's the perfect fit. Oh, I don't know about if you or I could get a handful of sacks playing next to Hutch, but it isn't impossible. Let's put it that way. Our Red Wings are floundering. They are no longer even in the playoffs. They're on the outside looking up. They have to win out. They have to do it in regulation. It can't be these overtime wins only separating teams by 1 point because we play some of the teams that are just ahead of us. I love the fact we beat the Sabres. Sabres are a hot team right now. What's weird is we're beating the hot teams and losing to mediocre teams. And it's kind of what we've done this entire time in the Steve Yzer plan. And I'm sick of the Yzer plan. If we don't make the playoffs this year, he should definitely be considered for firing, as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? It won't happen because there's more Yzerman apologists than there is Brad Holmes apologists out there. Great player, and he was great GMing and president of operations for Tampa, but we haven't seen it here. And I don't understand why more people aren't pounding the table about Steve Yzerman. 7 years of this shit. That's who we should be upset with. And yes, we were every bit as right to be upset with Troy Weaver. And everybody forgets that team control on a player contract in baseball. Gibson getting hurt really put the brakes on the momentum you're having, and you are right. The plan isn't even working with Yzerman and his aura. He is like a Jedi Knight. I get it. You will like me. That's what he's doing. I was great for you. $10 years this season. This will be the 10th season if we miss the playoffs. 10 fucking years after a 26-year run of not missing it. In the last 3 seasons, we've been in position where if we held where we were at the start of March, we'd have been in the playoffs every year so far, and we have not been able to do it. The one year it was 3rd we were going in. The next year it was 5th or 6th. This year we were 1st prior to March. 1st. And we're out of the playoffs already. Something has to change. They should have called up the kid from the Griffins. I can't remember his name. Ricky Seacott always puts it in there. I wanted to do a show with him this weekend, but it just didn't work out. People's plans changed, and I was like, screw it. I'm going to go out and have a good time. And I did. I went out with my friend. King SJ, you're in early. Love seeing you, brother. All right. I was holding out to see if Smoking Dad would get in here on time because I don't want to do it twice to you, but I've got too many of the old timers in here. Well, I love the rule that they're putting in place in case of replacement refs. If any egregious call is just outrageously stupid, the New York review team can call in and stop it, which means they might be putting more play clock time on just to give them that chance to get a little review and go, oh my God, that's awful. But it has to be clear and obvious. But I love that fact because that's what they had to do in college one year and it worked out just fine. I don't think they even had to add to the play clock. They changed the rule to where the clock didn't run until they set the ball in position, whether it was a first down or not, if I remember right. The play clock did not run. So if they do that in the NFL, the play clock doesn't run until the ball's set in position. That's going to give them that little bit of extra time. Funny how the best teams minors up a loader, such as the Grand Rapids, are great, but the parent team isn't. It happens both baseball and hockey. 3750 worth of my opinion. Oh, you had to throw the therapy in there. I got it. Hey, I tried to hold out. I waited a few minutes before I did the first one. I do that out of respect to you, brother. I'm not trying to cost you that much because you get that vision of my truffle shuffle in your head. You should be happy that I didn't have to do a truffle shuffle again. You're the one that made that bet. Oh, God. What an amazing weekend, though. I mean, we had all 4 seasons every day. Warming up to 60, cooling down to 30s, wind, rain, snow, sleet, all of it, all weekend long here. And watching our Tigers beat the crap 2 out of 3 games of the Padres was good too. And let's talk about something else that came out this weekend. I shared the article. Yeah, Keith is hitting the ball and getting on base, but McGonigal, what is he, 5 of 12 now? He had a bad game the last one. He went 0 for 3. Oh, well, the whole team didn't do well batting that game. We lost 2-0, I think it was, or maybe 3-0. It wasn't a Blake we got blowed out, but it was still a shutout. And Michigan making it to the Final Four. The Dukies got eliminated. That hurt half my bracket, but I didn't have them winning anyways. I had Michigan winning. I think that makes our run a little easier because UConn just hit a last second 3 with 0.3 seconds left. Congratulations. I didn't even watch the UFL because I've been paying attention to everything else. And I went out and sang karaoke for about 3.5 hours. I don't know if you know your country, but my first song I sang was Jamie Johnson in Color. I did Rob Thomas with Carlos Santana featuring Rob Thomas on vocals for Smooth. And then I turned around and did 3 a.m. Matchbox 20. Yes, and tonight we start our series versus Anaheim. So happy about that. Because Jamie Johnson in Color is one of those amazing songs. You know, it's a story. And I love the story. You know, a grandpa telling his grandson about his life growing up in black and white pictures. I can't sing, but I can cut a rug. Okay, Major Payne. I've been on the cut a rug at him. I even tried to hold out for Shula Berg because you know he's going to ask for it. Yeah. I went to the Autumn Lounge. That's where I always go. I was meeting up with my best friend since high school, Dave Kuhn. You're out there watching, Dave. Hello, Dave. But I'm just sick of this collapse. The Pistons were winning without Cade. and they're still winning. I mean, what can you say? This team's probably going to win the East, and I don't think that there's a team that's going to rival them in a 5-game series, let alone a 7-game series. A 3-game series, maybe. That was a perfect. Thank you. I used to love that show. You have more voices that crack me up than Wayward Baseball's Breaking Neighborhood. Amen, brother. You guys remember the church lady? Well, what made you do that? Satan. You know what? I've every time I remember the very first time we had the UFL or the USFL, and it actually had a video game, and hardly anybody bought it, but I did. But I renamed them. I like alliteration. I just do. I always have. Yes, church lady. But I would rename them to the Michigan Maulers and put like a giant maul right on the side of the helmet and a hand. And that's in reference also to steel workers, which we have a lot of in Michigan and Pennsylvania. Bobby Hebert, the original Michigan Panthers QB. That was fun. Yes, sir. But I renamed him to the Maulers because that hammer, it was supposed to be Thor's hammer, but if you added a graphic behind it, because I used to play it on the PC, not the PlayStation. Because Madden on the PC was way more customizable than ever on the PlayStation back in the day. Creating players, you could actually make them look like real players. Oh, that's all. I love those times. Yeah, I love playing games with the kids because then you get to have more fun. The only games I can't play in front of the kids because I don't like corrupting them, thinking that violence is good, is I will not play GTA and I will not play Red Dead Redemption 2 in front of them. No shooting games in front of kids for me. Yeah, or create your own league of UFL teams. Yes, that's exactly why they did it. They made it the fourth big cat name in the state. Oh, coffee is flowing. But there isn't much Lions news out there. But hear me out here. When Decker left, do you realize he was ranked like the 42nd tackle last season? That means he was at the bottom end of starters. GTA built. Yeah, now with the explicit scenes if you got the adult version. But anyways, the insinuated scenes of the older one, like GTA 3, I was fine with because it always did a cut scene. You heard the sounds, you could mute the TV, and the kids wouldn't know. But still, beating up people just to take their money on the street, it to me it teaches bad morals. That's why I mostly played sports games around my kids. Gran Turismo, NASCAR, Madden, MLB. But to this day, the best football game that was ever made wasn't even made by EA Sports. It was 2005's ESPN 2K5. Most customizable, the having Chris Berman doing all this his announcing during the game. It was amazing, and the gameplay was better because your running back didn't fall down when he touched a blocker. You could literally use the right analog stick and guide your blocker into somebody for you. I agree. He deserved a restructure. Oh, that was the best one on Super Nintendo ever. Tecmo Bowl 3. If you had Bo Jackson or Barry Sanders, you couldn't be stopped. Bo Jackson would bowl through everybody, and Barry Sanders, that spin move, it was like Teflon on the field. Oh, cool. The kids must be a little older. I'm going to say around 10 to 12 years old then. I did before my heart attack. I used to ride them all the time. The only thing I wouldn't do is go upside down until my bachelor party was going to Cedar Point with my brother-in-law and my little brother, and they tricked me into going on the Raptor. Oh, it doesn't go upside down. And then the first time I'm gripping that thing, screaming when they took the picture. I'm gripping the handrails up over my shoulder and screaming, "You motherfuckers!" 7, 11, and 17. Cool. I knew there had to be older ones. That's what I was getting at, Yinzer, when you said what type of games you were playing. Oh, same here. I remember sometimes he would just look at Mel Kiper and go, "Are you fucking stupid?" without saying it. Oh, I bet. Um, I had no problem riding Millennium Force when it first came out. That was that year. Sat in that line for an hour and 45 minutes to get on it, cooked like a lobster. I wore sunscreen. It didn't matter. I was 2 hours straight of hell, 95 degrees in the middle at the beginning of September because I was getting married September 8th of 2001, no less. Yes. In the middle of my honeymoon, 9/11 happened. It was probably the last. Right. They still love Sonic. If you got an old Sega and a Sonic game, the kids will play it forever. Yeah. Wow. I know. Wait till you get my age, Nick. Every year goes by faster and faster as you age. And you don't realize how much time has passed that you've missed with loved ones and everything else because you worked. Um, I don't know if anybody ever heard of it, but Caesars used to have a couples resort out there in Marshalls Creek, Pennsylvania called the Pocono Palace. And they had these uh, cabana type cottages that were linked together, but you had like a martini glass, hot tub, your own wade pool, you had a sauna, all in your room. And I woke up and went outside, and it had to be a little after 8. And the next door neighbor was just bawling. And I know it was between 8 and 8:30. And he goes, I was like, "What happened?" He goes, "Dude, just turn on your TV, any channel, you can't miss it." I'm like, "Going, what are you talking about?" He goes, "It's awful, New York," and that's all he could say. Yeah, you're much younger than us. Yeah. So I went in and I turned on the TV and I saw the gaping hole in building 1. And I woke up my newlywed wife and we watched in horror as the second one hit. And after that day, we as a couple were never the same. Say what you want. I mean, we were still loving and caring and all that, but we nitpicked each other more. And I think it had a profound mental impact on our marriage. 4 years later, a year after the birth of my daughter, we separated and divorced. I had I was just about to turn 31 years old when that happened, a month before my birthday. She had a 95 Grand Prix with the sunroof, and we were riding out to her parents' house, and I said, "Hey, why don't you stop off the side of the road?" Because it was just a perfect June night. And I got out and we walked to the park, and I sat her on the bench where first the first time we went out for a picnic together, overlooking that spot. And I'm looking at the stars. I just told her, I said, "Do you know how much I love you?" And her jaw just dropped. And I asked her to marry me. And that's how that started. And despite all that happens, part of me will always love her because she helped me bring my youngest daughter into the world, just like my other ex that brought my youngest son in the world. Part of me is always going to love them, but I know I don't need them. The things you don't see when you're in the relationship that you see afterwards, the little gaslighting manipulations, the narcissistic behaviors, the little digs that you just didn't notice were digs that you thought were loving compliments. Sorry to hear that one, Yinzer. Yeah, I know. Prior to that, it was a totally different society. And that year right after, America was closer than it has ever been to each other. I proposed to mine on South Haven Pier. She said yes, or she was swimming. Oh, there's an old joke about that. But it's time for those 3 words there because I do want to go on that little trip. I think it'll be amazing to go on with my family today. So give me those 3 letters that equal 3 words that MDE loves to say. Oh yeah, I know it's young and dumb, but I still don't like hearing about people being incarcerated, especially after what I went through over child support. Good Lord. There it is. He said the words. Let's get it going. Let's restart that one. That was that last one I did Friday. 7 rounds. Make sure I hit fast. I don't want to have 18 minutes between picks again. Detroit. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Burn. I mean, I want to see his size because I haven't looked much into him. 6'6" and 285. Okay. That's not horrible. He had an 83 on that. Or Maxahina Core's here, and this is one of my favorite players in the draft. 85.11. That's the best grade we've seen out of those 3. Originally came from New York, didn't play football in high school, but several years in a Yardy and Moses, a potentially early round prospect 26 draft at 6'5" and 315 pounds. He's actually 6'6" and 330 because he gained an inch over the past year and 15 pounds of muscle mass. So, do I risk the trade back? Speaking of bean footage, I live 20 minutes away from Bush's Beans, where it is made. Actually, the museum is in Dandridge, Tennessee. So, do I take that trade that we saw right here? That's late first, get a third round pick plus next year's second for that 205, which is our early sixth and 17th. I think I take this trade. I like that trade the most out of all of it. 31 and 63 is okay, but I kind of like this one because then we get a pick in each round. I'm taking it. We'll roll with it, see what happens. No, no, no. All right. Zion Young is here, but Caleb Lumo, there we go. It worked out. I like this. Okay, so I like Cassius Howell too. 6'2", 248. I'm not big on drafting Michigan guys early. It just has not worked out a lot. Yes, we got Lomu. But I see Gabe Akis isn't here. So I'm also going to look at safeties. Bud Clark, that's too late. Anthony Hill Jr. This guy's got an impressive linebacker resume. I think it would be a great pick here. I like that better than anything else right now. I'll go that way and then go edge in the third round. Because look, none of those guys are going. I might even go. God, that's tempting. With the sizes of the edges out there, would you take Traden Stukes here in the third round at 74 when he's the 77th prospect? Just because he's big, tall, fast, plays well in man and zone coverages. I think he'd translate into a solid nickel to begin with, but maybe develop into an outside guy by years 3. And we're talking about a third rounder. We're not talking about a first rounder here. I think Terrion Arnold was developing fine. The tech, all it says is there was techs involved, not that he commanded anything. He has not been issued an arrest warrant. Until he's issued an arrest warrant or convicted, I refuse to indict the man. I think I'm going Stukes here. And here's where I take Danny Dennis Sutton right here. Michael Tafe. If I wait any longer, he won't be there. And I want him because he's a linebacker slash in the box safety. I just want to see if someone's here. Now, Pat Coogan's the best one. This Fabechi Nwawu is actually a really good one, but I like Bo Stevens better. And for depth, you can't go wrong here. We don't have 205, so I can't wait on it. I think this is the way I go. Wow, it just like slowed down to nothing there for a second. I think this is where we get our TV tight end, Tanner Koziol. Talked about him a lot. I like this kid. And for our last pick, of course, out of MSU Moorhead, Jack Strand. I think I hit all of our stuff. I really didn't get an extra pick here, did I? Still got 9. Because I gave up that extra 6. I don't mind giving up the extra 6 for that. So I have downloaded the file. Let's get the picture in. Let's go over what we did. So we traded away pick 17 to them in 205. We got next year's second. So that's 10 picks total because we got next year's second. Caleb Lomo, Anthony Hill, Traden Stukes, Danny Dennis Sutton, Michael Tafe, Kendall Daniels, Bo Stevens, Tanner Koziol, and Jack Strand. We added depth to the O-line, a possible starter, a starter at left linebacker, a starter in the possible starter in the cornerback room, depending on how he looks in the preseason, a nice rotational edge piece to develop into that number one guy at the opposite Hutchinson, Michael Tafe, Kendall Daniels, the guy that could play linebacker or safety, but he's the size of Jack Campbell at 6'5" and 242, Bo Stevens, Tanner Koziol, and Jack Strand. That is a team building draft. This is the type of drafts that Brad Holmes likes to do. What do you think? I don't think anything out there is far fetched or far off of what we would do in those situations. Because, like I said, the edge room turned into third rounders and then they turned into fourth rounders at 50. And that's a possibility of happening. The guy I wanted was not there. Right, because instead of reaching for somebody at a position of not of need or a position of need and reaching at somebody a round ahead of time, I went for who was the best available at a position of need, which is the way Brad Holmes does draft usually when he goes in with a clear plan. Because I don't care what anybody says. People say, "Oh, he got lucky getting Penei Sewell." No, told everybody for 2 weeks that's what was happening. As a matter of fact, as we went live that year, this was before I was even doing podcasting. It was just a messenger group like I have now for my guys that watch the show and are a part of the show all the time. And I might add you to that group too, Michael Edwards, where it's more football news than baseball news. In order, prior to the picks, I called who was going where. I'll defend it. I think Tesla was the right pick there. Okay, I will. I'll add you right after the show because my focus is on this, doing this, bringing you the Detroit sports news. Pretty soon, this is no longer just going to be called Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. It's going to be Detroit Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. Because you know what? I can give you the news all around all four Detroit teams year round then. There will be no dead space. There will be none of that. Well, let's make up topics that are realistic and based off of facts just to fill airtime. And I think that would be the smarter way for me to go. What do you guys think? Do you think that's the way to go here going forward? In the background will be KCB Sports because that's the network I go live into. Don't forget, I am on the Huddle and Roku TV app if you want to watch this on your TV, but you still have to use your tablet or smartphone or computer to be able to comment. But then you can mute all that and watch up there and then type in your comments as you go. And you get to see my ugly mug in HD big screen. Oh, God, that's scary. Imagine the next time I have to do a truffle shuffle. I said that just for your benefit, MD. But as always, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way we're going to make this world a better place. It starts within ourselves. You can't expect someone else to change if you don't change yourself. I love you, MDA. Like you're another brother from another mother, man. Uh, I'm glad we connected. Our love of words, the way we mix them, the way we deliver our punchlines. We're a lot similar that way. I might be a little more crass and a little more crude about it, but we do love our words. We love to write. It's one of our passions. So again, this has been another episode of, well, Detroit Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to cover it all. Go Tigers tonight. Pistons, keep doing what you're doing. But we're playing the Anaheim Angels. I don't even know what their record is. Don't even care. Yes, I plan on it. But thank you very much, everybody, and we are out.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.